I am the first player to get a max cape on seasonal DMM mode, just 9 days after release. Why would any player want to skill on a game mode focused around PvP, where you could be attacked almost anywhere? The answer is easy. You get 10 times XP rates, meaning 10 times the fun. Plus, at the end of the season, all your stats get transferred over to the official Deadman world, 345, meaning maxing here gives you a permanent max Deadman account. Last episode, we did a lot of exploring as this is our first time in Deadman, and after 3 days of casual skilling and wandering around, we decided to push hard for max. Let's go see how we did it so fast. From here on out, all of planning to max was happening on a whim. Everything I planned beforehand was basically useless once I learned about the wrath of how many people actively PK at oak trees and such. We're still in bracket 1, and we spent 2 hours unlocking Fossil Island. Even though if we leveled up combat to a new bracket, we could have had all the quest requirements completed, making it faster. I had to do 99 woodcutting while I was in the first bracket, because the odds of a pker doing a quest and then knowing about 1.5 tick teaks, in my opinion, were slim to none. I figured since I have not yet seen a single person on this island, I'll fletch during woodcutting. I was also using sigils that auto-bank my stuff anyway, so fletching darts was essentially the same as normal 1.5 tick woodcutting, except instead of dropping logs, I'm gaining fletch XP. Currently, these are the sigils I'm using. Enhanced Harvest, which gives me 5 times more logs per tree, while the Woodcraft automatically turns the logs into planks. And then the Remote Storage automatically banks everything. So every 850 XP I'm getting, I'm automatically banking 5 teak planks. As you could imagine, this is great profit. I did this up until I saw somebody else on the island, which happened at 88 woodcutting. It's very easy to escape pkers with the proper plugins on Runelight. If you enable player indicators on minimap, the second you see a red name, you just gotta click a teleport. It's very easy and works for pretty much all of skilling. After about 30 minutes of waiting, I changed my sigils up a bit and made my way back over. I went back to using the farming sigil, which makes my trees grow faster so that way I could get 99 ASAP. My main focus was to minimize my risk because I didn't want anybody to PK me and think that they could actually make decent GP off of it. With the Woodcraft sigil on me, I had to bring GP, plus there was planks going in my bank every time that could potentially be PK'd. It was better for me not to risk that and worry about making GP later on. So what's the best way to store GP, given that you lose your top 10 expensive stacks on death? Well, the sigils that everybody has been proving out since day 1 are all worth 50 to 200k on the GE. Despite that being their listed price, the good ones can be well worth in the millions. Whenever I had a milli or two, it was best to buy out as many sigils as I could and keep them in my bank until I died. Then after dying, I just simply insta-sell one and buy back all my shit. You lose about 10 to 20% insta-buying and insta-selling to patient merchers, but pkers don't get your GP, so it's a win-win for everybody. I have yet to see another pker since I got back here, and we're now halfway to 99. And a whole 3 more hours of undisturbed woodcutting later, we're already level 99. Don't mind me, I'm just doing a casual farm run at 70k XP per yew tree. I then made my way to Black Salamanders while trying to figure out what I'm doing next. Chins are better hunter XP, but I figured these might be a safer alternative, since chins make so much gold, it's a heavy hotspot for pkers. I did birdhouses to 76 hunter, and I did not expect this to work, but surprisingly it does. If you turn on a sigil of exaggeration to boost yourself to level 80 hunter, you can unlock the extra trap placement, and with 76 plus 5 hunter level, I was able to place 6 traps in the wilderness. In the main game, you cannot boost to place extra traps, so I thought this was pretty cool. So while we're chilling here, we have to do some thinking. I have been trying to figure out how we're going to train runecrafting, because the only way to really do that is multi-skilling ZMI or runecrafting with runners, both of which didn't really seem possible in Deadman due to pkers. I'm trying to think really hard how we could do this. You guys may have heard of people making GP in the main game by playing Deadman. They load up some alts, mine some rune ore, sell it, and then swap it over. It ends up being a pretty good overall GP an hour method, especially the first few days where GP is in high demand. Well, I had a friend who was doing a very interesting method for his GP. There's a sigil called Sigil of Last Recall, which teleports you to your most recent location, such as a runecrafting altar from the bank. The downside of this is that it has a 3-minute cooldown, so it cannot be used to constantly teleport from the altar and back. However, this one genius had a great idea. Why bother running runecrafting laps when, I don't know, let's say you run 7 different accounts and just teleport in on all of them every 3 minutes? I had no idea what to expect runecrafting rates, but this is boosting my level insanely fast, which gets us to double chaos runes. With double chaos runes, we're making 6.6k chaos runes and 28k runecrafting XP per trip. Doing about 19 trips an hour and selling these guys at 85 GP each makes him about 10.6 mil GP an hour, and swapping is allowed, so I'm just gonna buy it directly off him to help fund me the rest of the max cape. He's happy, I'm happy, everyone's happy. Oh yeah, also I forgot to mention, but there has been no pkers once at the Chaos Altar. If you go to Nature's, there's pkers showing up every few minutes, but the Chaos Altar is free as fuck. I'm finishing up 99 crafting by cutting up gems while I wait for my 3-minute cooldown, and unfortunately, because we already did fire making and herblore before realizing this method, crafting and smithing are going to be the only 2 skills we can really chill and multi-skill with this. I was eager to test out smithing because it isn't as close to a teleport, but it worked out surprisingly well. I used my own runner to run me bars so I could do 5 plate bodies per trip, then I teleported to Runecraft like normal, and then back to Varrock Square and repeat. I cannot believe it's almost over, but unfortunately, here's 99 smithing. Followed by 99 crafting, and now we were in trouble. We're only 91 runecrafting, and I don't know how hard it's going to be to runecraft in higher brackets. There's nothing else I can multi-skill during this, so I'm going to have no choice but to move on. At this point, I'm just procrastinating Slayer because I'm so nervous about it. My total levels are low on the high scores since I haven't trained combat yet, but I am starting to draw attention from people trying to max. What are my remaining skills I can do while still in this bracket? To start, I took an hour out of my day to do 99 construction. Man, the skilling spots in this bracket were so quiet. I also got 99 Hunter out of the way without seeing anyone. Of course though, I wasn't going to be a casual and finish at Salamanders. I did one last birdhouse run for the final XP. Slayer is very close now, so I am going to get transportation incantations so that I can build a Karen portal in my POH for a task later on. I think we are ready to level up to 51 combat and execute the next part of our maxing plan, Slayer. But before we do, let's do a quick review of the stats we have left. 92 fishing and 94 cooking can be done in a 100% safe zone, so on those we are fine. 94 mining has a lot of alternatives if the quarry is too crowded, so I'm not too concerned about it. 91 to 99 runecrafting, I still don't really know what I'm doing, but there's nothing that I can efficiently multi-skill here, so we might as well change brackets. 49 to 99 agility, I have a perfect plan for this, but it has to wait until the final bracket, which is 111 combat. And finally, 91 thieving. Pyramid plunder is mostly safe, so we can just do that later on. There's a breach every 8 hours, and usually all pkers go to them. As soon as one spawned, it was time to risk it all. I made my way towards the Wilderness Altar to get 43 prayer and level 51 combat. When I do hit level 51 combat, I'm going to have 60 minutes of protection from all pkers. I really have to make the most of this. I just had to click the bones on the altar 20 times, and then I was high enough combat to switch worlds. I still needed level 43, so I decided to do a few more prayer levels since I already have the bones on me. And now it was time to use the remaining 59 minutes for gaming. I am going to try something for Slayer that I haven't really seen anybody mention over the last few days. Wilderness Slayer. Don't get me wrong, I fully expect areas like the one I'm in to be crowded with clans because it's multi. However, later on, I have a plan. The Sigil of Slaughter helps with Slayer. It lets me spend 30 Slayer points to choose my own task. Since Wildy Slayer already gives so many points, in theory, once I hit my 10 Slayer task streak, I should be able to always choose my next Slayer task. I'll spend 30 points on a task and then get 25 back. And of course, every 10 tasks, I'll get a fat little bonus for the streak. My plan was to just do these 10 tasks for points during Wildy Protection, and then choose something obscure like Fire Giants, where there should be no pkers, and I could just keep going back to them for melee plus Slayer XP, even if it's not the greatest XP rate. As long as I'm not being killed, I should be fine. I was only level 59 attack when I entered here, so I brought a rune simi to get me my final attack level, and then I switched over to a D long, because Monkey Madness will be completed in the next bracket, so there's no reason for me to waste an hour doing it in this one. All of the levels are going up right now. We have Slayer, hit points, range, melee, just so many total levels. I decided to slaughter this task because I remember doing it as a perfect canning task in the other game. With the Sigil of Slaughter also having a buff for 50% of kills to not count towards your task, stacking with the actual slaughter bracelets themselves, we're going to end up pushing our entire hour of protection here. But this makes me think, we probably can do almost all of 51 to 70 combat right now and get ready for the next hour of protection at level 71. 67 strength, 25 demons left, and 2 minutes of protection. I probably will insta-die here, so I think it's okay to come back at a later time where I have another hour of protection. It's now time to log out, and guess what logging out gets us? We were previously ranked 19 and 1694 total, but after just 1 hour of gaming, we are now 1868 total and rank 4. Now I just have to replicate this one more time for rank 1. For every skill, there must be a plan. It's time to execute prayer. I got told from somebody in this bracket that there wasn't many PKs at the Wilderness Altar, so what better way to do 99 prayer than right now, especially for the free combat levels. You might be wondering why I don't have noted bones, because it would obviously be wasteful to go to the bank every time I need a new inventory, and you are right. The guy that usually unnotes bones, the Elder Chaos Druid, was banned from Deadman mode and cannot unnote bones at the altar. I think their goal was to make people train in the safety of their POH, but in my opinion, they could have just disabled PvP everywhere and kept the 10 times XP rates. But I don't know, is that an unpopular opinion? It doesn't matter, we don't need this druid, we don't need a POH. We have the same boys we used for 91 Runecrafting. Just a couple minutes later, we were disturbed by 2 noobs, and I thought, maybe this method won't work. But why not try one more time? I didn't even reset my tracker when I died. We just hopped worlds and continued praying. 30 minutes later, I was already halfway to 99, getting 11.5 mil XP per hour. There was also another Chad in our world doing prayer with us. Much Bot Town? What does that mean? Hasn't this guy ever heard of 7 handsome men getting bones at an altar before? I'll hit him with the best response. No, you. And with some fireworks to that message. God, I almost feel bad for the guy. A little over 600k XP to go now, and unfortunately, the fun has ended. We got attacked. It's not worth my time at this point to set up again for 500k XP, so we will worry about the last 500k later on in the series. So for the time being, we are just hard stuck at 98 prayer. I forgot to record, but I finished the rest of my 20 Greater Demon tasks with Expeditious Bracelets and 0 gear besides weapon just to ensure I don't lose anything. This also landed me very close to 71 combat, and once I had it, I sold a couple sigils and geared up for the next bracket, 71 to 90. I always do my last few XP after gearing up in a safe area so that I can instantly be ready to send the first hour of protection. Last hour, we gained so many total levels, but this time I want to take a different approach. Looking back on it, we probably should not have extended the Greater Demon task as long as we did, because even though we gained all of those levels, we're still only 1 task complete and a whole hour of protection gone. I still need the points from 9 more wildy tasks before I can start choosing my own, potentially safe tasks. So during the next hour of protection, we're just going to do as many tasks as possible, even if normally we would extend them because they're good XP. There's 71 combat, now let's go see how the new world looks. Our next wildy task was Ice Giants, which is pretty good XP, it's just another cannon task. However, we're still going to Expeditious this because we really want to get points ASAP. This world bracket doesn't seem too promising, and I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of pkers everywhere. We just got 66 Slayer and 1900 total. Well, this guy's fucked. At least this confirms my suspicions of this cave, even on the south side, to be unsafe. Alright, let's go see what our next task is gonna be. Hopefully something really fast like skeletons. Blood Velds? This was probably the only task I can't do fast. They're located in the God Wars dungeon and I can't efficiently cannon them there, and the XP is horrible too. I'm going to log out for a second and think about this, because we're gonna need a change of plans. Alright, so if we do a Poor Sign of Interest, the Slayer quest, we'll be rewarded 30 Slayer points, which is enough to skip. We don't want to use Turiel yet because we'll lose our 2 task streak that we worked so hard for. It's not ideal to quest in a supposedly dead area during protection, but it is better than Bloodvelds, so let's go. On the odd chance we do find a pker here in the middle of nowhere, at least we're safe. Oh my god, there's like 7 people camping a teleport spot in the middle of fucking nowhere. Guys, what am I getting myself into? Is maxing really going to be worth it if this will be the rest of the game mode? For the sake of putting up with this shit, please don't forget to like the video and subscribe. With this quest complete, that got us 67 Slayer, and now we have 30 points to skip our Bloodvelds. Our new task is 117 Fire Giants. Fire Giants were actually going to be my super secret task that I was going to grind for 99. They are located in a deep wilderness dungeon which only has a wine of Zamorak in it. There's zero reason for any pkers to be there. We're still on our 1 hour of protection, but I guess we're getting an early taste to see how it will actually be. Only 30 Fire Giants in, and I cannot believe it. There's already a scout here. What are the odds that somebody's all the way in level 50 wilderness? Like, seriously. 20 more Fire Giants later, another guy tries to log in. You could tell this guy was really low on spades, but unfortunately, I could not supply him for another 34 minutes. At this point, I'm just kind of thinking, maybe people really do like Wines of Zamorak. I might need a new Slayer plan after all. Not long after Fire Giants, I learned about Mammoths. Let me just say, these guys were insanely good experience for both melee and Slayer. I had 70 strength now, so I switched my weapon to the Corrupted Scythe, which is only 1.4 mil in the GE. It's 20% worse DPS than a normal scythe, but it does its job. But here's the thing, this scythe isn't good because it's a scythe, but rather it's good because of the sigils. The sigil of the ninja makes every weapon with an attack speed above 4 ticks attack 1 tick faster, meaning our scythe is now hitting 25% faster. Not only that, but the sigil of the feral fighter has a 20% chance to make my next hit only 2 ticks instead of the usual 4. Because the scythe has 3 hit splats per hit, I roll this chance 3 times every hit, making me constantly whack the enemy every 2 ticks. We are only 4 tasks in, and we're already low on protection. With the new knowledge of the scythe, and the knowledge of learning that pkers are hungry everywhere, even at Wines of Zamorak, it was time to AFK fish while we theory craft a new Slayer plan. I need to find a new enemy, something to get me decent XP, but more importantly to avoid pkers. I just don't think Moss Giants will be it, considering they are right above Black Chins and near Rev Caves. This is just going to be a PK hotspot. I did a mixture of 3-tick and AFK fishing while trying to think of something, and then I learned some great news. Eevescape was also going for first to max cape, which sure, I already knew that. But the problem is, he knows he's at a disadvantage going against a skiller like myself. Because I cannot PK, nor do I have any connections in the PK community, he was bringing out his advantage. Eevescape has friends and has participated in previous DMM modes, and now that he knew I was slaying, he was going to use this to his advantage. He put a bounty on my head, so not only do I have to deal with the clans of 7 people camping Wines of Zamorak, but now we also have Eevescape's boys hunting me down. How in the world are we going to get through the rest of Slayer? If I told you guys how now, there would be no reason for a final episode, so be sure to find out in episode 3. With a great end to this episode, we are officially rank 1 at the time of this clip, so now it was a matter of playing smart and hiding until the end. TY to everyone who watched, and I will see you all next time. Peace out.